What's going on, everybody? I'm finally back from my Japan trip. It was a phenomenal trip. You'll probably be seeing more videos, maybe some vlogs coming pretty soon on this channel. And if you haven't got the chance to check out my last video, that is 3 things that I learned about myself while being in Japan, I would highly recommend that you go check that video out because this video was birthed from that one, right? And what I wanted to do is take a concept or one of the lessons from that video and really expand on it and give you guys some more context around what I mean, give you guys some practical steps, right? And so the concept that I want to talk about today that I think is so important is the concept of less is more, right? And what do I mean by this? What does this mean? We hear this all the time in society. And for me, I've been taking that principle and applying it to every point of my life. Whether it's social media, I want to follow less people, I want to consume less content. Like if it was up to me, I would only be following like 50 people, right? Friends and family included, right? Um, there's just so much information out there. I want to consume less information. Um, Even to my diet, when I look at the back of the packages, I want to consume things that have less ingredients. Growing up, y'all, we would, eat these things that have a whole paragraph of ingredients inside of them, right? And just trying to get back to things that have less ingredients, right? Taking this concept into business, I want to be a part of less meetings. To me, it's a weird flex to be in meetings all day long. Less meetings, less group chats, just less conversations that are not fruitful. Less is more, right? And I think this concept is something I really learned in Japan because, out there you'll see a lot of businesses and a lot of people. They'll find one thing and they really hone in on that one thing and they become great at that thing. You don't see too many people out there spreading themselves thin and just being okay in a bunch of areas or just giving minimal effort in a bunch of areas. There's usually 2 or 3 areas, maybe even one area where they hone in on and they are great at that. And personally, I'm a part of, I don't even know how many different men's group, but I ask myself, I'm giving very minimal effort in each one of these groups. What would it look like if I just honed in and focused on just 2 of the group, poured into these guys and gave them my all and really built those relationships between just a few of these guys here, right? What would it look like even in business? Something that I always tell my clients, my marketing clients is like, who is your ideal audience? Like who are you speaking to, right? And a lot of them are going to say, well, my ideal client is everybody. And my answer to that is, well, if you are talking to everybody and you're trying to sell to everybody, you end up selling to nobody, right? Because there's no clear, concise vision. There's no target that you're aiming at. You're just kind of shooting at everything, hoping that you're going to hit the target. So for me, less is more, right? And again, I'm taking this principle, and this isn't necessarily, you're probably like, yo, Chris, you just want to isolate yourself from the world. You don't want to be in no group messages. You don't want to be in these men's groups. You don't want to be in these meetings. It's not that I'm isolating myself. It's that I want to be more intentional with my time, right? So the time that I'm spending and spreading myself thin over here, I can take that energy and that time and I can focus specifically on business. I can focus specifically on my relationship with God and growing that. I can focus specifically on my health, right? There's different areas and different pockets of my life where I can use that time and energy at to be more efficient. And I think that is the word. It's not me trying to isolate myself. It's me trying to be more efficient in my life, right? And I think that's something as men, especially, I'm a man, I'm talking to y'all. If you're a young lady listening to this, I'm sure you can apply this to your life as well. less is more. Where in your life can you kind of trim off the fat from, the steak? I was out in Japan. I don't eat beef, but I know when I get a cut of the beautiful Kobe beef, they don't just cut the whole thing and just serve it to you as is, right? They trim it, they cut off the excess fat, they make it clean, right? Presentable. Even when they're cutting the sashimi out there, they're cutting nice thin pieces that are bite-sized pieces. They're not these big old chunks of salmon that you're eating. It really is, it's precise, right? It's about being precise. I heard this motivational speech by Eric Thomas a long time ago, E.T. the hip hop preacher, but he was basically saying like we need to focus on being snipers and not guys with the machine guns, right? So he gave the analogy of he remembers watching a movie. A lot of the war movies are like you got the guy on the chopper, the machine gun, and they're just shooting everything up, shooting up the whole house, shooting up their enemy. And like when all the smoke goes away, they done shot up the whole house, shot up the whole building, and the enemy's still alive. They didn't hit nothing. But when you watch these movies, and they have snipers in the movies, these snipers are precise. They're sitting there, they're waiting, they barely blink, they don't eat, they don't drink, they don't go to the bathroom. They're sitting there waiting, and sometimes they're waiting for hours and hours and hours, trying to find the right time to pull the trigger. And when they pull the trigger, it's boom, one shot, enemy goes down, they clean up their weapons, they pack up, they go, they get on with their day, right? They're precise, less is more. And so that's, hopefully this is making sense, but that's the concept that I've really continued to hone in from, before I went to Japan to even afterwards, just realizing, man, like society, we are given so much information in so little time. How is this going to affect us in the future, right? How is this going to affect our brain? How is this going to affect our health in the future? And I think for me, like I want to pull back on how much I'm consuming and really be intentional about it, right? Instead of me reading 100 books in 1 year, what would it look like if I just mastered 12 books, or if I just mastered 5 books, or just one book in 1 year, and I just mastered that one book and I acted on that information? Or if I watched a piece of content or a podcast, instead of me listening to 50 pieces of videos a week, what if I just watched one for the month and really focus on the concepts and the ideas in that video and applied it to my life to where I actually see results? I think that's the environment that we live in. Is we get so much dopamine hit from watching all these videos with all this information, and we end up doing nothing with it because we almost get just the high, the feel of just listening to information. We feel like that's enough, right? And I think this video is becoming a little long-winded, but you guys get the point. Less is more. Where in your life can you begin to take action, removing some of the things out of your life? It's almost like you're moving the furniture around in your house, moving things around in your house to be more precise, to be more precision, moving. Right, so I want to challenge you guys to look at some areas in your life where you can be more precise, you can be more efficient, and you can just kind of trim off the fat and the excess, right? Whether it's relationship, group messages, things that you consume online, right? Use that energy and time for something productive and good. It's your boy Chris. Catch you on the next one. Peace.